live. Do. Sweet home Alabama. What's up, y'all? This is Ty. How y'all doing? I am here to review season 2, episode 6 and 7 of Tyler Perry's drama soap opera. I was about to say the Oval. Beauty in Black, which is streaming right now on Netflix. I call it Booty in Black. That's just a habit. But before I get into this episode, I gotta say shout outs to all my lovely subscribers. You know who you are, and the people that are watching this show with me: Coy Gary, LaRonda Jackson, Simply Be Yourself 100, Lamont Simpson, June BLC, and all the rest of you wonderful, super duper people. I do truly appreciate you. Yes, I do. Yes, indeed, I do. So let's get down to this. Oh, before I get into this episode, please go subscribe to my new channel. Well, it's not a new channel, my old new channel. I've decided, well, June told me this, so shout outs to June BLC, to move my music, the singing and stuff, to my YouTube channel I had a long time ago. It used to be called Ty Boogie. Now it's called TySings. So go on over there and subscribe to TySings. That's where I will be putting all my singing. Shoo up to one. All of that was going to be over there. Shooby dooby dooby doo. I may still put it here too, but I'm gonna put it over there so we can kind of like separate the things. So there's a review channel and there's the singing channel. That's what we're gonna have to do. So anyway, let's get down to this review. Let's start off with episode 6. Let me look at my notes here. So as we know, this was the enemy of my enemy. Rain went down there. She decided she was going to be, I don't know if she thought she was Foxy Brown or if she thought she was Charles Bronson. You know, she coming to get revenge. You ain't about that life. So what are you doing? She's coming down there with, what's that guy's name? His name Alex, I think. I think his name, but she calls him Jack Nigga, which I hate that. I hate every time she calls him that, and I don't like that. They went down there to mess with Daga. She wants revenge on Daga. I feel like if you're not about that life, you shouldn't have tried to do that. So that ended in disaster with everybody being killed except for the young lady that's from Sweet Home Alabama, the sweet little 18-year-old girl who's out here shaking her tail feather at the club and owes everybody owes Jules some money. She's shaking in her boots. Homeboy said she really needs to be killed. Rain says no, let's not. No, she says, young lady, here's some money. Get on the next Greyhound back to Alabama or get out of here. She said, just get out of here. And she was like, Jules will find me. What's your full name, ma'am? Because I guess she gonna give her name to Horace so that she could be protected. She said, get on up out of here. No more hoeing for you. Get on up out of here. So that was interesting. But let's talk about Crazy Roy. Crazy Roy down at the club messing with Felicia and some other young ladies. And Felicia, he's really taking a liking to her, and she's taking a liking to him. Or did she take a liking to that money? I think she took a liking to that money. That's what I think it was. But anyway, he is down there carrying on, being stupid, feeling himself, which is totally. I'm like, he's such an idiot. Just, oh my god. Kudos to the actor that plays Roy, because I'd be so upset with him. I'm like, you are so stupid and arrogant. It's just, oh my goodness. So anyway, he's down there. Felicia's bossing the other girls around and telling the girl, I guess the girl was supposed to wash him and she didn't, the water was too cold or too hot. She smacked the girl because the girl was cleaning Roy's private parts. I was like, this is crazy. So that was that. But now this part of the episode was extremely crazy to me. Roy decides he wants to go and visit his father's house, and I guess he was trying to pay visit and speak to Kimmy because he's pissed off about some things, right? And security stopped him. Now Roy don't have no manners, and he think he could talk to anybody any kind of way. So he decides he gonna get greasy with the security, and security's like, "Well, sir, no, you ain't even supposed to be here. Your daddy don't like you." So he's still talking greasy and all this other stuff. Then out comes Kimmy, and he called her, trying to call her out her name. She said, "Is that any way you talk to your stepmother?" And then she's as he's talking to her, he says, "Let me tell you something, ho. I'm paraphrasing that. But let me tell you something, ho. My father about to drop dead, and once he go meet the king, I'm gonna pee on his grave. That's what he said. So as he's talking smack, right, Horace heard the whole thing. And Horace comes out there and was like, you, what you say? What you say? You gonna pee? You gonna pee on me? On my grave? Oh, is that right? Security, show him why. Security grabbed him and they jacked him up and held him down while Horace peed on Roy. Why didn't y'all tell me that was going to happen? Because I know y'all saw this, and I told my friends, I said, why didn't y'all? Oh my God, I was disgusted. That is traumatizing. This family is straight in hell. I get it. Roy's a jerk, but come on. And how much? How much did Horace have to drink? Because that was a lot of pee. He had him drenched. I don't want to talk about it no more. That was disgusting. That was disgusting. I was like, you hate your son that much that you peed on him. When he got up, I would have jumped right in that pool. He got up staggering. First of all, in the pool I go. You walked home. The whole that's nasty. That's nasty, and that is traumatizing. And then this is old man, old. Well, pee is nasty, pee, but this is your daddy's pee. Some old sickly man just peed on you. You know how much you gotta hate somebody to do that. That was crazy, but that was the thing that to me was like, what in the hell is going on? Now let's move on down to. Oh well, let's stick with Roy a little bit more. When his wife goes to the house and finds his pissy clothes in the bathroom, and she's like, what is that? Oh my God. And then they have a conversation, and she's like, so you peeing on yourself now? He said, I didn't pee on myself. She said, don't tell me you had them hoes pee on you. He said, I didn't have no hoes pee on me. My daddy peed on me. Makes the matters worse. I'm talking about this is just complete and utter craziness. Complete and utter craziness. So now let's move on down to Olivia and Norman. They're having a conversation, and we're learning that they're shook because listen, Horace has said this is what he wants to do. He says, listen, we're calling a meeting, so all of them have to come and meet Kimmy. This is mandatory meeting. There's some stipulations. If you don't, you will be fined. Bring your tail down to the place for this meeting. Right. So they're having a conversation. They don't like what's going on. And then Norman is kind of picking at Olivia. He's like, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. I know you miss he even accused her being down with that cancer lawsuit, but he said, I know what's going on here. You struggling. You struggle. You owe money, don't you? You. Turns out she owes 100, not 100, $1 million, and it may be grown, so she's in debt. So that's why she's so eager to get a bigger piece of the pie. This whole family's crazy. They're completely crazy. I was like, okay, that's crazy. What else happened in this episode? Um, Horace has a conversation with Angel. And he tells Angel, you are free. You're free to go. You can stay here if you like, but you're free to do whatever you want. And he gives Angel a credit card and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, dang, Angel get a credit card too. And I believe Kimmy and Rain was joking with him, like, oh, well, man, you've been giving up the ass to him like that. I ain't do nothing with him like that. So I thought that was kind of entertaining. And of course, he's not knowing how to act. Angel's not knowing how to act. And he was irritating me every time he called that lawyer. I'm not the lawyer. Every time he called the butler nigger and all that. That was pissing me off. I don't like that. Just like I don't like when Rain calls that dude Jap nigger. It's just something degrading about it. It's just ridiculous. So now let's get down to Mallory coming over to the house to greet Kimmy, and she comes over there with flowers, and she's trying to be nice, but she's throwing little daggers at the same time. That was hilarious to me and entertaining. And I like how Rain was kind of like, "Oh, how's your husband?" And they were throwing little daggers there, and she left. So she's trying to play the game. And then when she leaves with that driver, and she's rude to him, and she says he's funky and stank, and he's told him to. First of all, these people don't know how to talk to people. I can't stand this. How these characters, they don't know how to talk to people. That pisses me off. So she's telling him, stick your head out the window when you drive. You stink. This, that, and the third. Because he was a new driver. She's pissed off. That was crazy. I didn't like that. But let's go on down to Charles. And Charles pulled that boy Dustin. We learned his name is Dustin. And he pulled Dustin, brought Dustin to his house. They had whatever. Now Dustin wakes up and Dustin is still scoping the place out and telling people how to come in. That guy says, okay, we're gonna be there, but we're gonna come in the daytime. We're gonna come in this little truck and act like we're a delivery truck. This is where I'm confused, y'all. And y'all help me out. Is this not? Don't the Belleries live on a compound with a private road and gated security? Why doesn't Charles have security? Why doesn't Charles have, especially as reckless as he is? Why isn't there a security detail? Why didn't someone put security on his house? He got all the glass everywhere. You can see everything in there. Why didn't they do that? So anyway, there's one scene where he tells the guy to leave. The guy's still in his underwear, looking around like he ain't used to nothing. And then he says, "Oh well, you could stay, whatever." And then Varney comes in, and Varney's like, "Get your ass on it," because Varney came over to tell Charles, "You got to get ready for this meeting. There's a mandatory meeting." So now, when Charles sees that Varney's telling the dude to get on up out of here, and how he gonna smack him, and Varney called Dustin Dusty, rightfully so. He's a bum. He is Dusty. And then Charles gonna take this stranger aside just because he's mad with Varney and tells him to get out, get the stepping. Bad move, because see, Dusty over here got his little henchman coming to rob you. So he comes out the room and he see the men coming. Yeah, you gonna tell us where the safe is? And you thought they was getting the best of Charles at first, and then Charles start fighting back, tearing him up, and Charles gets to get that gun and shoots them and kills them. I said, "Go ahead, come." Charles know what he doing. Charles know what he doing. I said, I guess he didn't need security, but now there's blood everywhere. He got these 3 bodies down, and I'm like, this is crazy. And I believe that's how episode 6 ended. Then we go to episode 7, gloves off, and episode 7 has Charles calling Varney because now there's blood everywhere, and he needs Varney. But you got the nerve to be mad that Varney ain't picking up the phone. Varney, the way you've been doing Varney, I don't blame Varney for not picking up the phone. Varney's mad. Varney won't answer the phone. So then he calls Roy, and Roy picks up the phone, but Roy won't let him get a word in edgewise, and because Roy is too busy infatuated with Felicia. And so he's on the phone with Felicia. He want to meet up with her, this, that, the third, all this foolishness, right? And then here's the crazy thing with that. She's sleeping with the police officer, the crooked officer that works for Jules. So they're just playing. Roy is so dumb. He's so dumb. It just, somebody so dumb it makes your head hurt. He's so dumb. He's so dumb. And so, they're all supposed to be getting ready for this meeting. And, Horace told Kimmy, you make sure you make them wait. Now, Horace is going to get the treatment, I believe, in Italy. So Horace is going to get the treatment in Italy. And the things that happen as they're waiting for this meeting are hilarious to me. And I'm like, these people, they are so pissed off because they think they're better than somebody because Kimmy was a stripper hole and they're rich. But Kimmy got more class than all of them combined because they may have money, but none of them have an ounce of class or any type of integrity. They're just terrible people. So, what happened here? I'm thinking here, y'all. So, Roy says something really stupid to Jules, and that was that he wants Felicia to be his assistant. You can't. Well, clearly he is dumb. I was like, you can't be this dumb. Why would you want this girl as your assistant? She don't even. She ain't. make her my assistant and bring her here now. You heard what I said. I was like, oh God, this guy's an idiot, a complete idiot. I was like, this is crazy. This is completely crazy. Meanwhile, when Kimmy does when Kimmy does step in on the scene, she's like, she comes, she says, "Oh, I want to go to my office first." That's what she said. But see, another lot of power tripping was going on. Mallory told Jules, matter of fact, why don't you go downstairs and greet her when she gets here? That's what you do. But I love when Kimmy came here, and I love how Kimmy is. Kimmy came in there, and she was like, I'm gonna go to my office first. That's what I'm gonna do. And then she said, you come here. And I was like, oh, I really loved all of that. That was all crazy to me. And it was just so these two episodes, 6 and 7, was just so much foolishness. And then we have Sylvie, who I've liked. You know, I like her character. She's all right. But this, I just didn't understand. So Sylvie decides she wants to go see the horses, and she's into horses, whatever. And she meets Glenn, and he handles all the horses. But guess what, y'all? Come to find out, Glenn is Jules' son. Jules is all up and through this family. This is crazy. So now what ends up happening is, and this is what I don't understand, because I thought Sylvie was this innocent, young, sweet young lady. Not that you can't be innocent still, but I didn't see her as one so quick to give it up and have sex. Rain walks in on her in the barn. You supposed to be riding horses. Instead, you got Glenn on top of you. Rain thinks she's being raped. I don't know how sound like rape, sound like she was having a good time, if you know what I mean. But she thought that the girl was being raped. So they up on a higher level in this barn, rolling around in the hay. And I believe Rain gets some pitchfork or something, and she's like, "Get out of here, get away, get away." So the guy falls over from the higher level down onto the concrete. He looked like he dead to me. And I said, here we go. More trouble. Rain, you're doing too much. And the girl she was like, he was raping you. And Sylvie was like, he was not raping me. We were having a good time. What are you doing? And I was like, oh my goodness. This is just crazy. Mm-mm-mm. That was crazy. So that was really crazy. It's completely crazy. So we got Roy going over to talk with Kimmy, and we have homegirl killing, or so we thought, killing Jules's son, and that's how that episode ended. So again, these two episodes I really enjoyed. I'm enjoying this season. I'm liking this Kimmy. Like I said that before, ever since the second half of season 1, I'm liking this Kimmy that's taking no nonsense, no nonsense. And that's that for episode 6 and 7. And I will be back to review episode 8. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.